Guys, what's up? How's it going? It's John, and thank you so much for tuning in. Before I get started, I really appreciate you guys subscribing, liking this video, turning on your notifications. That's huge. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much, guys. I want to talk about Arcade1Up. Recently at E3, they announced some really cool arcade games coming out, and I want to talk about share my thoughts about those. I'm curious to hear what you guys' thoughts on these games are as well. A lot of exciting things at E3 this year. Obviously, I think of the most exciting for me personally was probably what Arcade1Up announced. For those who don't know, Arcade1Up, they do these mini arcade build your own arcade cabinets. They do it at a kind of a budget pricing, so they start anywhere from $200 on up to like $350 or more. They typically have really good licenses, so they work with companies like Namco with Pac-Man, for example, and Capcom with Street Fighter series, etc. Even Atari with Asteroids and all that good stuff. And they do a really good job making these cabinets, even though they're 4 feet tall, look very nostalgic, right? They looks really cool aesthetically. They look really neat. Because they're short, they do have a booster. I believe it retails for about $100 you can get, and it will make it a little taller for you. So in total, you're looking at least $300 for an investment. But the thing is, the kicker is you have to build them at home. The best way to explain it, I own about 4 of them at home. I own the Asteroids one. I own the Street Fighter one, Pac-Man, as well as Rampage. And having built these together 4 times now, it is kind of a pain in the ass. It's kind of like IKEA furniture. They're kind of cheaply made. You have to use the coaxial screw. And I noticed also that, at least with my cabinets, they wear and tear very, very easily. Like I was playing my Capcom one quite a bit, Street Fighter one, I noticed the paint chipping off. And so hopefully Arcade1Up has addressed that issue. I know it's an issue for a lot of people with the quality of these things. There's some type of emulator-based system. I'm not quite sure what the hardware on these, but some type of emulator. But at E3, they announced 2 in particular ones I'm really excited for. They announced, first off, Marvel Superheroes, which is cool. It's going to retail for $300. It's going to come with Marvel Superheroes, X-Men, Children of Adam, which is a fighter, and as well as a Punisher. I believe that's a beat 'em up. That's going to come out all 3 in 1 games. That's going to be cool. I kind of wish they included X-Men in that. Obviously, different. That was Konami, different. I get it, different publisher, but still, that would have been really cool to include. That's going to be awesome. I probably won't pick that one up, but I know that's going to sell really well because Marvel's obviously very hot right now, very popular. They announced also Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, which is going to be sweet. Love the cabinet. Looks very nostalgic. The original artwork for this game is terrible. It's atrocious, with April O'Neil holding a camcorder, which never made sense to me because she never was a camera person. She's a reporter. So the reporter never holds a camera. It doesn't really make sense. It's awful. She's got a wig. Anyway, they kept that artwork, which is great. It's going to include Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1, the arcade game, as well as Turtles in Time. That's going to retail for $350, so a little more expensive than your typical Arcade1Up. And the one that got me the most excited was the Star Wars one by Atari. So it's going to include the original Star Wars Atari game, came out in 1983. Still one of my favorite arcade games. Empire Strikes Back, also by Atari, and Return of the Jedi. So the first 2 ones, Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, are vector-style graphic games. Kind of hard to emulate, so I'm curious on how that's going to look on the Arcade1Up. It just doesn't do it justice. I own the original Star Wars arcade, and I have it modded to play Empire Strikes Back, which, by the way, is a fairly hard game to find because it was a mod that arcade owners could purchase back in the 80s, and a lot of them didn't because the original Star Wars was doing so well. So I'm kind of curious on how it plays through emulation. I'm kind of curious how that works. It also uses the yoke controller, and again, back to the ones I own anyway with joysticks, the quality of the joysticks aren't great. So I'm really curious how this yoke controller work. For example, my Atari Asteroids one, it's got the knob, it's just very clunky, doesn't work well. So I'm kind of curious on how the joystick is going to work on here on the Atari Star Wars. But very cool, looks awesome. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts about these arcades are. So the first question I want to ask you is, do you have any of these at home? And if so, which ones do you have? And how do you feel the quality is on these? Am I right when I say that the quality could be better? Now, I get it. They're trying to get them on a budget. And I think it's introducing a lot more people to arcades, which I'm a big fan of, so nothing wrong there. Second one, what games would you like to see them make that aren't out already? They recently announced, or released rather, a Mortal Kombat one, which is awesome. Includes Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. It looks like Mortal Kombat 2 art style. That's awesome. I've not picked that up yet. That retails for $250. Personally, the ones I would love to see would be like a Simpsons Arcade, the beat 'em up by Konami. Throw in an X-Men in there as well. I know with licenses that kind of hard to pull off, but that'd be awesome. A Tapper, which would be great. Tapper is one of my favorite games. I love the cabinet itself. You can throw in Timber in that bundle as well. It's another great game. I'd also love to see a Donkey Kong one, right? So you get Donkey Kong 1, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3. You'd also throw in Mario Brothers, do a dual one, right? The original Mario Brothers. Now Nintendo, I don't know. I'm sure it's really hard to get licensed for Nintendo, but that would work. That would really look to me awesome and play awesome. Donkey Kong is definitely one of my favorite games. But they also announced at E3 some tabletop games, right? So they announced a Pac-Man Namco one, which includes Dig Dug and Pac-Man. Also includes all the other lot of classics ones, right? For Galaga example, I believe there's like 8 or so games. And a cocktail table is the one that you sit down. They call them cocktail tables because it was people back in the bar would put their drink on it, right? Cocktail. They also announced a Capcom one, which includes 1944, most of the Street Fighter 2 games, and that's sweet as well. I'm not quite sure how those will be built together. I'm not quite sure the pricing on the cocktail ones, but they look really cool. Again, hopefully they don't wear like the stand-up ones. Anyway, let me know what you guys' thoughts are. What do you guys think? Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, and game on.